Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Heat Press for Profit podcast. We are broadcasting live here on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And if you're watching with us live, make sure you shout out who you are and where you're watching from. I'm Kelly Walters, and thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to listen. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the show where we launch a new episode every week. Now, we love community. So if you haven't already, I would encourage you to go over to Facebook, join our Heat Press for Profit group. That is a community where others can interact with peers in the heat printing business and, of course, like-minded individuals. It's a great place to ask questions and get community support. Now, this podcast is designed to have conversations with apparel decorators just like you and industry experts that have an impact on your business. I'm excited to say that today we have Jennifer Johnson, and she is a strategic account executive here with Group Stall. And we are talking about how to close the sale and win the customer. And that is super, super important in today's world because, there's going to be new businesses developing every day, every minute. It feels like somebody new is starting their business. And in order to keep moving forward in yours and growing, you have to continuously close those sales and retain those customers. So, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Now, you guys, she is like the queen of decoration. It's like she knows it all. She knows heat transfer, she knows screen printing, she knows embroidery, she knows textiles, and she knows how to build relationships with customers. So if there is a question involving decoration, Jen is the girl to have the answer. So Jen, just give us a little bit about your background. And I know you've been in this for birth.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're kind of right. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me. I have been in the screen printing industry since I was basically a toddler. My father owned and operated a direct screen printing business for 25 years. So I was the one running around, getting dirty with ink back in the warehouse and, all that fun stuff. And then after I graduated college and as I entered the workforce, kind of just stayed in this industry and originally started selling full package trim, woven labels, printed labels, hang tags, buttons, rivets, zippers, all that good stuff. And then moved into screen printed heat transfer technology. And so have been really focused in that area of the industry for, embarrassingly 20 plus years. It's really kind of where my passion lies. Love everything about it, eat, breathe, sleep it. So as Kelly mentioned, if you guys have any burning questions about anything, let us know in the chat. We'll be happy to answer. We make a great tag team. And so I've been with Group Stall now 7 years, a few different titles throughout the 7-year tenure, but strategic account executive currently. Really managing kind of our top tier strategic large brand partners, really making sure we set them up for success in large scale production facilities. But really, I love it all. I love everything from the home-based crafter side hustle. Everybody's got to start somewhere up through our major brand partners that are, pumping out thousands of heat transfer impressions a day and everything in between. So it's a lot of fun.
So because you have had the opportunity to touch a lot of businesses, from those that have just started, hey, I'm looking to get into this industry and I need a heat press, to those that are putting 10, 20 heat presses in a facility, for businesses that are really looking to propel forward and grow. They want to make this something substantial. What are your recommendations for somebody to stand out or start standing out? That way they can just really grab a hold of new orders and sales.
Yep, absolutely. So I always tell folks that are just kind of starting out in this industry or are really looking to take their side hustle business, their hobby to that next level and really start making it a full-time business. You've got to differentiate yourself, right? But with that, you can't be all things to all people. I find, and I think you would say the same, Kelly, in our experience, businesses don't last much past a year or two simply because they try to be all things to all people. They spread themselves too thin. They're constantly discounting or doing favors or all of these things, and they just can't keep up, right? I always say, find a focus. Find what your passion is. If your passion is dogs, and you think you could really create customizable dog collars and dog leashes and dog harnesses, fantastic. Find out if there are competitors in your region or in your city or in your town, something that's going to differentiate you. If you're in a small town, and schools are the big thing, right? Focus on that. Or maybe if you have a large hospital in your region, really try to go after that hospital. Big business. Medical industry is big business, right? Mm-hmm. So just finding your niche, carving out your niche, being really, really good at it. Not saying you can't pick up other jobs or other types of clients or across other markets and industries, but really try to set yourself apart in that niche. That's kind of what I have found most customers have tremendous success with.
Have you seen businesses change their niche? Like they started in one avenue, right? And then oh my gosh, okay, well, this customer came in and it worked great. And then they recommended, to a friend. And so they've kind of switched paths. Is it hard for somebody to go one way and then do a hard pivot to another niche?
I think that is such a great point to bring up and a good question. As long as you can stay flexible and nimble and quick to change and grow and ebb, I think you will be tremendously successful in this industry. Because honestly, when your business starts a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, it tends to look completely different. And it's exactly how you say, right? It can happen very organically. You did one project really, really well, something maybe off the wall that you never thought you would even think to do, but you got a request for it. And then all of a sudden it starts to morph and snowball and requests and word of mouth, right? Everything is about word of mouth this day and age. Social media, word of mouth. That's really how you grow your business. And I think as long as you're willing to change and try new things, absolutely. And I think that's what really sets successful businesses apart, is their ability to change on the fly and grow and be nimble. Because, at the end of the day, change and growth is uncomfortable for a lot of people. I know it is for me. But I think that's really what makes a healthy, successful business for sure.
Well, even in a business, right? Like personally, right? Even if change isn't something that people are comfortable with in a business, the world is changing constantly,
so rapidly,
continuously, right? So as new equipment, new technology is developed, in order to stay with the times per se, you have to change and you have to be willing to adjust. Now, it's kind of weird to talk about or to mention pre-COVID. Putting that date on there.
But it's a thing.
So odd to say, but pre-COVID, people could have boots on the ground. They could walk into businesses. They could prospect that way and really target a niche that route, right? Like you could walk into schools, show your ID.
Grassroots, yep.
Drop those samples off. Post-COVID, are we seeing people, businesses that you've chatted with and seen, are we still prospecting to where there's boots on the ground, or are we utilizing the technology in front of us?
100% a shift after COVID, right? Long gone are a lot of brick and mortar where you can walk into somewhere and try to capture that business. Like you said, schools, they're not readily letting people just walk in. So you have to find alternative avenues to market yourself, market your business, market what you have to offer. I think technology, and it's a lot for people. It can be really overwhelming for people. This digital age, right? This age of Amazon, click a button and it arrives to you the next day or that afternoon. Right. And so many people, that's how they want to operate. That's how they want to conduct business. And so you really, as a business owner or looking to step into this industry, need to get on board with the technology aspect and the digital aspect and ensure that you've got business social media accounts, right? Being able to market your business on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, it is really crucial because that's where people are going. We're inundated with ads constantly. I've fallen victim to clicking on an ad and buying something. I've been influenced, right? So I think making sure that, number one, you either figure out how to do it. And if you're not willing to figure out how to do it, or you're just not a technological savvy person, hiring a digital marketing person, that can be freelance. That can be a couple of hours a month. That doesn't have to be a full-time employee. But somebody that can really help get your business out there at the forefront and help manage and maintain the social media aspect of it is so, so crucial. We as a company have completely shifted post-COVID. We have fleets of salesmen and saleswomen in our company that used to be, Kelly is one of them, that used to be boots on ground, right?
Yeah.
Would be required to travel and hit the road and go visit these customers in person. Long gone are those days. We're all moving too fast. People don't want people to come in anymore. So much of our marketing efforts now are through this, reaching our customers digitally, doing the lives. I always say too, like, simple little things in your business. People love free stuff, right? And it doesn't have to cost you a fortune. If you've got a really cool design that you've created, say, hey, the first 10 people to like this will get my free design, or, just something fun and kitschy to engage your audience and your community is a great way to market and differentiate your business for sure.
I think that's an excellent, excellent idea. Like the first 10 people to like this or share it or save it, or, when we're talking about the digital
tag
age,
our business.
People are here, right? Like people are here, or they're on their computer or an iPad or some type of device. And if you're not out there, boots on the ground, if you're not going into businesses and you're not running ads, or finding other ways to get in front of the people where they're at, which is a screen, then you really have to figure out a way to kind of grab their attention. And it's like 3-5 seconds. It's very, very quick in order to do that. So if you are looking at last week we talked about social media and gaining followers, not paying for followers. That's another easy way to grab a hold of those potential sales, those potential customers, those potential orders, is simply by going, if you do this, I'm going to give this to you for free. Or if you do this, then I'm going to throw in a left chest design or sleeve design, back design. And then that's really giving somebody more to add into their business, especially if it comes to garment decoration.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of closing the sale, getting the sale, I still think samples sell. Samples win.
100%.
And even if you can't physically go into a business, I feel like a lot of times you can still drop something off, or you can give it to security.
Mail them something, ship it to them. If
Yep.
you have a contact and an address, right? Creating a story with their branded logo on it. And, back in the day, that was really hard to do. We as a company had higher minimums, but now with like the launch of Direct to Film and Ultra, which is our Ultra Color Max, like no minimum. You can order one, you can create a little gang sheet and put a bunch of different clients' logos or prospects' logos on there for a fraction of the price, right? And creating a story across multiple styles, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe a hat, maybe a bag, maybe a nice quarter zip or a polo, a button down, depending on their business type. And presenting that way, almost 9 times out of 10 will land a sale. A couple of other tips that I have for folks, and only because I see this happen and it really pains me, have set and clear pricing, right? I think that is the number one downfall of a lot of people getting fresh into the business. They don't have set, clear pricing. They might say to client A, oh, here's your price, because they're a friend or a distant relative or friend of a friend, whatever. And then that same project, they give a different price to somebody else. Well, if you're in a small town, a small community, people talk, they review.
Absolutely.
Be really careful. That's a slippery slope. Everybody, it's human nature, wants a discount. Don't discount yourself, right? As a small business owner and you're wearing multiple hats, you're the marketing, you're the production, you're the sales, you're all of it. Your time is so valuable. Don't discount yourself, right? Trust me. And the number one rebuttal we always get is, well, Joe Blow down the street is discounting and Sally Sue is discounting. I promise you they will not be in business in a year. If you run your business on price and discounting, it's a race to the bottom, right? And those people will not be in business long term. So value yourself, value what you have to offer and the product you have to offer, and do not discount. That's my number one piece of advice. And then I always really like to present in a good, better, best option. Think about it. It's human buying nature. When you go to buy a car, you've done your research, you've got something in mind, but if you're on that lot, man, and that salesman has something 1 or 2 steps up, maybe a few more bells and whistles, that impulse buy is there. So if you can present, to a client, a good, better, best, and that might be a value t-shirt, a slightly step up t-shirt, and then a premium t-shirt. It might have the same logo on it, or maybe it has a simple screen printed logo, and then maybe our CAD Prints Permatool logo, and then maybe our Flex Style. Just presenting good, better, best, they almost always go with at least the better or the best. And so now your margin has just exponentially increased for the same amount of work. You're still applying it. You still have a heat press. So I think that's also a really valuable piece of advice for people getting in the business, is presenting good, better, and best, have really clear, direct pricing. And then last but not least, and I am guilty of this, asking for the sale. You oftentimes do all of this work. You're really trying to win and gain this client's trust, right? And you're there, you're at that finish line, but we forget to literally ask for the sale. And so we lose it, right? Whereas if we just were really direct and said, well, great, Mr. Customer, we've gone through all of these steps. We're now at the finish line. When can I anticipate a purchase order from you? Or when can I anticipate this order from you? I'm really busy. I want to make sure I can fit you into my production timeline. Just asking for that sale. I think we forget to do that a lot.
And even with asking for the sale, you can ask for an in-hands date, right? So if they say, you're going and talking with somebody about a potential order, maybe it's only 25. 25 is still great. Get it done. It's an order. And if you're talking to them and there was mention of them needing it in a week and a half, but they haven't given you an official date, and then they turn around and give you that date, that almost starts your clock on making sure that you go in and get the sale. So give them the date. I need to make sure that we have this order placed by X time in order for me to meet your deadline. And of course, we want to under promise and over deliver. So if you're able to fulfill that in a quicker turn time, not only were you upfront and making sure that you could meet their deadline, you asked for the sale because you were staying ahead of their kind of willingness to just go, I'm going to be proactive and give you the sale. Right. And then you can turn around and really show that customer service, the business savvy production side of, we get our orders done and we get it out there quick as possible. Really quick, back to your discount comment. Sean said, discounts, train your customers to only buy at a discount, not at regular price. And I think that's great, because if you can always get a discount, what's the chance that you're going to turn around and buy at full price?
Right.
Realistically, I mean, any business that barely does some type of discount, people know if they're doing a discount, then you run, because other times it's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now for asking for the sale, how how does somebody get comfortable with saying, I'd like to take this order, or I'd like to produce this order for you, or when can I expect a PO, or when are you looking to place this order? Let's write the order up. How does somebody get comfortable saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Talking about money and asking for orders are, I think, the two most uncomfortable questions in the sales process. So I think I got a little bit ahead of myself. Let me back up a little bit. I think first and foremost, as a salesperson or a business owner trying to land a new client or a new program or an order, an individual order, really you have to build trust first, right? This person has to trust that you're going to provide them a quality product on time with great customer service, right? So making sure that right off the bat, you build trust with that person or that project or that team is really, really crucial. And you do that by listening, right? As salespeople, I think we have this tendency to want to talk, to show up and talk. I do it. I get nervous and then I just want to talk. But really sitting back, asking questions. What are their pain points in their business or their process, or what were their previous vendors not providing for them? Like, where are the holes that you can likely fill for them? Under promising and over delivering is a huge one for me, right? Setting very clear expectations, and that goes along with clear pricing, so that there are not any hidden fees, there are not any, clear pricing. And then also setting clear expectation on timeline, right? Like if you know it's going to take you 8 days, I'm just throwing out a random number, to fulfill this job, you need to be really clear up front. And look, we all know those clients. Oh, yeah, no problem. They get busy, they forget, and then oh my God, I need it tomorrow, right? If they do that, charge for that rush service. That now just put a whole wrench and a kink in all of your other business, right? So you've got to charge for that, ample money for that. But I also think, what really can set your business apart and you apart as a salesperson per se is follow through and follow up, right? If they weren't ready to pull the trigger that day when you asked for the sale, set your calendar reminders. If you know that their event is July 1st and it's, June 10th, right? The clock is ticking. And so making sure you're setting clear reminders to reach out to them and say, hey, I know your event is here. This is how much time I need. Can we get this rolling? Do I have an order from you? Do I have a commitment from you, or a PO, or whatever the process is, right? I think doing that is also really important. So many people this day and age forget the follow through.
And I think the follow through also ties in with listening, right? Because if you've had that conversation, you're building that trust with your prospect or even a current customer, and you're looking to gain more of their business. If you've listened to what they have said, they will give you key indicators on, maybe I can't think about this right now, and I've still got 2 more weeks before I need to place the order. That to me is a notification for your brain to go, make sure you set the follow up or the follow through on this date so you can still stay ahead. But then you also become this service person where you are now checking in on them and building this relationship where it's like, listen, I've got your back. Let's just do this. Let's just get it done and place the order and move on, versus somebody kind of giving you indicators that they just are not comfortable. And then you follow up with them in 24 hours when you really should have given them just a little bit more time.
Yep. The listening part is huge. Our executive vice president, Josh, he is a huge champion of us closing our mouths, talking less, opening our ears, and listening more, right? Really, truly listening to what that customer's unique problems are, unique situations are, unique issues that we can then help solve. And a lot of times people don't know what they don't know, right? So if we can just sit back and listen, and we can come up with a solution that they might not have even had in their scope, now we've just really gained a great solid relationship because we've built that trust. and we've really helped them overcome an issue in their business or what have you.
Sean had another excellent little comment, and he said, when I hear I didn't like what the last person did, he loves to ask, how can I do it better? Or how can I do it better? What didn't you like? I have always gotten a sale from that conversation, and you ask the question,
Huge.
You're listening, and like he said, he turns around and he can get that sale and win that customer over simply by just listening and understanding.
Yeah. And and that's such an important question to ask. We ask it all the time when we go into prospective accounts and clients. What are you not happy with from your current supplier or your current vendor? Or where did they fail you? Was it lead time? Was it quality? Was it price? Like, so that you can get a better understanding of their pain points and their struggles, and then hopefully you can bring to the table a viable solution for them.
Absolutely. So
Yep.
Jose is going to transition us into kind of a wrap up here. But he said, I'm really bad at sales, but great with customer service. My company needs more sales to grow, so I need to develop my sales skills. For somebody that isn't really comfortable in sales, or like he's great at being that connection for customer service, but getting that sale. Reading books, attending trade shows, webinars, what other information do you have that somebody can really just go out and kind of train themselves, especially if they don't have that sales niche, where it's like it's just in your bones?
Yeah. And, Jose, I don't know if, if this is your thing. It is for me. I love TED Talks, right? Because they're short, they're easy. They tend to be less than 10 minutes. I would Google the heck out of the sales ones. They have so many good ones. If you're a reader, I really love, and Kelly's, we've all had to read it. It's called The Challenger Sale. It's a book.
That's great.
Get it on Amazon. Fantastic, easy read. Just immerse yourself, like Kelly mentioned, in sales books, sales webinars. Really just trying to figure out what your style is, right? There's always like soft selling and hard selling. Hard selling is you're showing up and you're presenting product. That's like a hard sale, right? Soft sale is way more nuanced, and it just takes time. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable. I still to this day I get very uncomfortable talking about price. So one big thing in the sales process, when you give a price, stay quiet. Give the price and then stay quiet. Don't keep talking after that. Like, just say the price and then let the customer talk, because 9 times out of 10, you'll start to slip and slide because you're not feeling confident that you're commanding that price, right? And you'll start to say, oh, well, but maybe I can get it done in sooner, or I can throw in this, or you start to like panic, just say the price, stay quiet, let them talk. I guarantee you'll be fine. And remember, if the guy down the street can do it cheaper, I would tell that customer, well, best of luck to you with them. If they end up not coming through for you, you know where to find me. 9 times out of 10, they'll come back because that customer won't be around, or they, completely undervalued their business. But I just think all of those like self-help books, sales books, webinars, TED Talks are so important.
Yeah, it's really one of those things that there's so many, even with social media, right? Because I mean, in a sense, here we are, we're on social media, but people can really oversell the product or the solution that they are truly providing. And cheaper isn't always better, and more expensive isn't always better. But, my recommendation would make sure you have that connection with that person. If it feels so cold and you just aren't quite sure if you can trust them, do you want to give them money? Do you think they're going to be able to meet your deadline? Do you think they're going to be able to give you a product that you are expecting? And as a provider of solutions, I think it's also important to ask the question, what's their expectation? Because there's so many different styles of tees and polos and textiles out there anymore that if you're expecting a certain type of polyester, there's a lot of poly out there, and what you may have seen on one customer may be different on what you're actually getting from your decorator or what you're providing. So it's just, the more questions are always better. And it's funny because I feel like I'm the queen of questions. I always have a question. If you need anybody to expect to have a question, it's me. I can find a question. And it's funny because I feel like I used to always get, shunned for, oh, Kelly has another question. But yet that's how I have learned so much about the people that I work with and, customers that we have and their problems, finding solutions for those. So at the end of the day, that's just what we're all trying to do, is find a solution and provide that service for them.
And repeating it back too. I have found that, sometimes our perception, we hear things differently, right? So I tend to make notes, let them talk, and then say, okay, Kelly, if you were my customer, okay, Kelly, here is what I heard you say. You need it by this date, blah, 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 and repeat the details, just so I make sure that I have a really clear understanding, grasp, and scope of the project or the program or the job, for sure.
Absolutely. That's a great roundup too, just to kind of seal the last conversation, solidify, all key points, making sure you're on the same page. And then you can go your separate ways, schedule your follow-up, go in and really just close it because you remembered, you took notes, and you listened to what they were wanting. Mm-hmm. To wrap us up, because we could just
talk forever.
We could do another. Let's do another one. But are there any other just wrap up key points that advice that you want to give to somebody tuning in?
Two things. One is I always send a follow-up email, draft up my notes. It doesn't have to be a novel. Just thank you so much for the opportunity, for the time to meet with you or talk on the phone or email or whatever. Here are our follow-up points, right? I think that shows dedication. That shows that you're trustworthy. That shows that you're on it, right? You own this. I think that's really important. And then overarching, just put yourself out there, right? Like for Jose, you're like, I'm so bad at sales. You're probably not that bad at sales. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And yeah, you're going to make a few mistakes here and there, but that's how you learn. And just putting yourself out there and putting your business out there. If you don't take that step, right, you'll never get to the next level. Knowing we're all human. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to fall on your face a couple times, but that's how you grow. And I think that's just take the leap, just do it. And I think that's the best advice, we can give somebody looking to either get into the business or take their business to the next level.
The leap is always scary, but it can also be the most rewarding. So, and sales is kind of one of those things. You got to take the leap because at the end, there's probably a pot of gold if you just keep going through it. So, well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This was Jennifer Johnson, and I appreciate you so much for taking the time out of your Friday to join us and give everyone some excellent tips. You guys, happy decorating and have a wonderful weekend.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Kelly.